One of the best managers in the world, Carlo Ancelotti, just left Real Madrid to become the head coach of the Brazilian national team. Now, Brazil is known for having some of the best young talents in the world, and we're going to capitalize on that today. Today's goal is simple: sign as many Brazilian wonder kids as possible and see how far they can take us. And when we think of young stars, we have to think about footballing academies. And while clubs like Man City, Barcelona, Dortmund were on the list, I've decided to go for Ajax in this video. We're going to switch it up a little bit and head to the Netherlands. With the Brazilian national team not being in the game this year, we're going to have to turn Ajax into a Brazilian annex. So here we are, Carlo Ancelotti at Ajax. And we're starting off here with a young backup goalkeeper coming over to the Netherlands from Germany. It is Kawa Santos coming over from Frankfurt for a straight swap. He's going to be riding the bench this season, but he'll be our starter for sure next year. Next up is center back one of two on my shopping list. As small of a signing as it is, Robert Renan is a fantastic player, 20 years of age, 72 overall. I'm excited bringing him over from Saudi Arabia. But we're skipping a lot of the midfield right now and jumping straight into the attack. This is someone that I'm excited. I think I've only used him in one other rebuild, and I purchased him late on, so I didn't get to see that growth, and I'm excited to do so today. It is Luis Guilherme coming over from West Ham United, but now we're heading back to the midfield and signing from a team that I almost used in this video. Another big club that is widely regarded for bringing out the best Brazilian talents is the Ukrainian side Shakhtar Donetsk, and we have taken one of them here today, and Marlon Gomez coming over for a flat 5 million. Carlo Ancelotti is bringing a familiar name back to Ajax, someone who made history as a record signing and was a critical piece to some of their best seasons of late. It is indeed Anthony, but not the one you're thinking of. Like I said, it's a familiar name, not a familiar face, not quite yet. But Ancelotti's tactical genius isn't just on the pitch, it's in the players he brings in as well, and we have done that once again here at Ajax. It's a player I was fully expecting to sign maybe 2 or 3 seasons down the line, but we have picked him up here today. It is Endrick, Brazilian wonder kid coming over from Real Madrid for a straight swap with Brian Robbie. Endrick is here to stay, and I am excited for this team, including both Weghorst and Berghaus. And after quite a busy summer transfer window here at Ajax, we were able to make a couple more backup signings. They'll only really be backups for season 1, since, like I said, Ajax has some crazy players, but Hefte is going to be that backup. A swap deal for our current backup left back means Hefte will fit right in for season 1. Again, another backup here, Kaiki coming over from Almeria, straight swap, and a backup striker here in Isaac coming over from Nacional, straight swap once again. And with our summer transfer window over with, we still have 4 players in the starting 11 that are not Brazilian, and you definitely cannot class Henderson as a wonder kid. But the rest of this team is looking very, very nice. Let's see what this can create in season 1. Halfway through the year, we are first in the Eredivisie as well as still in the Orange Becker Cup, not to mention first in the Europa League, and some of these player stats are absolutely insane. Endrick +3, a crazy year so far. And we made it straight through to the round of 16 in the Europa League, but we are facing Manchester United, who in real life made it to the final with an unbeaten run. Let's see if we can end their unbeaten run here and now. 2-1 win. We do beat their unbeaten run, but we have to do it again in game 2. I just thought about this, but we're unsure whether or not this is Erik ten Hag or Ruben Amorim's Manchester United. I would like to think it's Erik ten Hag, and I'd like to think we're going to send him out of the Europa League. And we do not send him out of the Europa League. We are kicked out. 3-0 comeback from Manchester United. We will be seeing ourselves out of the Europa League this year. And we are already getting this cutscene for player of the season at the end of season number 1. We just hit June, and of course it is Endrick, and it was well deserved. 28 goals and 8 assists. Davy Klaassen, though, 21-9. He brought out that Brazilian player this year. If only he was Brazilian, we might be able to keep him. And Kenneth Taylor, a player that I only kept due to his high rating, he's gonna have to go this year as well. Doing fantastic, but that's not the point of the rebuild. Great growth this year though for Luis Guilherme. 10-7 for goals and assists, but +6 overall, +4 overall for Anthony as well. And since we won the league, we do have automatic UCL qualification. We are going to the Champions League. We are going straight to the Champions League in season 2. However, PSV won the Orange Becker tournament. We went out in the semifinals. However, we sadly will be letting 3 players go at the end of the year. Davy Klaassen being one of them. I'm going to let his contract expire. I could take the 9 million, but I don't think I'm going to need it. Pasveer, backup goalkeeper, 41 years of age. He is retiring. And Mateus, sadly, he just hit the 80 mark. He is 32 years old. I probably could get a couple good years out of him. But the goal of this video is Brazilian wonder kids, and I don't know if 32 makes that cut. But with season 1 done, I'm going to call that a success, and let's head straight into season 2. Some bigger names, bigger signings, and hopefully bigger trophies. And our first signing of season 2 is going to be at the CDM role. So we brought over Gabriel Moscardo from PSG, formerly Stade de Reims, and he is going to be a fantastic replacement for us there. And I might have overpaid here a little bit, but this is a player I knew I needed to have from the start. Currently a Chelsea man in the Premier League, we have brought him over to Ajax. It is Andre Santos coming over for a swap deal with our center back plus 10 million. And so with a lack of a center back, we needed to replace that quickly. And while Kaiki, our backup center back, is 71, 72 rated, I believe, that's just not going to cut it for where we're at with the squad. So we have gone out to sign Lucas Beraldo coming over from PSG, just like Moscardo. And we had a ton of players come back from their loan spell that are solid, but now that we have a full Brazilian starting 11, I'd like to swap them out for Brazilian prospects. So Chuba Akpom is going to Leverkusen, and we are bringing Arthur, the Brazilian right back, over to Ajax. And with season 1 going way better than planned, we actually had tons of extra money in the bank, and we decided to go for a massive center back signing here in Murillo, coming over from Nottingham Forest. I also wanted to sign a backup goalie, but the one I wanted wasn't available, so Luis Enrique is coming over for now. And I don't usually sign players with no player image, but Igor Jesus makes a great bench player, 70 rated, 22 years of age. And while I really wanted Moscardo to be the star of this show, I think this signing is going to be a little bit closer to the overall of our current squad, as well as let Moscardo take some time to get to that point. Andre here coming over from Wolves, 79 rated, 23 years of age. I think this is a little bit better fit for the time being, but I really want Moscardo in the squad. And I promise, I know this has been a lot of signings. I just didn't think we were going to be at a point where we had 70 million in the budget and a squad growing just as fast as they are. So I'm making one final signing here, and Franca coming over from Crystal Palace. Straight swap deal for Carlos Forbes, 72 rated, and hopefully a great backup for this squad. Life in the Champions League starts with Club Brugge, Malmo, PSG, AS Monaco, Salzburg, Celtic, Benfica, and Fenerbahce. And while life in the Eredivisie is good, first place once again halfway through the year, we are in 28th with 2 games to go in the Champions League. But regardless, I do love to continue seeing growth. Endrick up to an 84, Luis Guillermo up to an 80, but sadly our Anthony is not doing as well as I'd hoped. And Franco, who we signed in the summer, is already 1 rating above him, plus 5 overall, and I've converted him to a left mid. I'm going to let him take the starting spot for the second half of the year. Hold that thought, hold that thought. I just found the perfect replacement winger for Anthony. It is the one and only Anthony from Manchester United, 18 million on the dot. That is a cut price deal for him. 81 rated, 25 years of age. We are bringing the real Anthony back to Ajax. And for the second season in a row, we are getting the player of the season cutscene, and it is Endrick once again. And it looks like because of Endrick's work, we actually did win the league, only by goal difference, and it was a substantial goal difference, so I will happily take it. However, once again, we did not win Orange Becker, and the Champions League final does not include Ajax this year. Europa League, Aston Villa vs Marseille, and Conference League, Roma vs Lyon. But our player of the season and Golden Boot winner was Endrick, plus 5 again overall this year, 86 rated, 36 goals and 9 assists for him, 21 and 17 for Guillermo, 83 rated now. And Anthony, in only 18 games, 13 goals and 5 assists is actually crazy stats to put up. And I am more than content with how this team is performing, and I'm excited to see if we can do more of the same in season 3, hopefully just making it further in some of these competitions. But we will be saying goodbye to 2 players this year. Jordan Henderson never got picked up by another club, so he will just be leaving on a free, and Christian Hillenson will also be leaving. Free transfer this year for both of them. Just no need for non-Brazilians in the club right now. Ancelotti is not known for being sentimental, he is known for winning titles. So we need to do that here today. And we made a signing here in Jan Couto, a player who's played in Spain, Germany, England, and now coming to the Netherlands to help us out of that right back role. Signing a backup center back as well in Pedro Barbosa, a Brazilian center back regen, and a couple free agent prospects as well, as we signed Guillermo Duarte, Igor Cabral, and Felipe Correa as 3 backup signings. We are also seeing a Real Madrid superstar prospect here in season 3 coming over to the club. Bruno Ribeiro is 17 years old, 76 rated right wing, must be a Rodrigo or Vinicius Jr. regen, but I'm going to send him on loan and get him some game time, and hopefully when he comes back, he can take one of our starting spots. So before we fully get into season 3, we are seeing 2 loan moves here. Robert Brennan heading out on loan. Sadly, he only got a little bit of game time in the starting 11, and I want him to grow a little bit more if we are going to play him next year. And Bruno Ribeiro heading to Portugal for 12 months on loan. Our second UCL League phase is here. September, we face Nice and Randers. October, Celtic again. November is Real Sociedad, and in Inter Milan, December Dinamo Kiev, and we ended off in January with Real Madrid and Fenerbahce. And just over halfway through season 3, it is Endrick at 19-2 and Guilherme at 17-10 carrying the goals and carrying our tally for the season. 87 rated for Guilherme, 88 for Endrick, which currently has us first in the Eredivisie, in the quarterfinals of Orange Becker, and in the playoff round of the Champions League. And we did much better this year, finishing just outside of automatic qualification for the round of 16. I am okay with that. So we're here in the playoffs to get to the round of 16 against Fenerbahce. Game 1 here. Let's see how we do. 2-2 draw, it's anybody's game to make it to the round of 16. So we need a win here. That is the only thing that sends us on to the round of 16. Can we do it against Fenerbahce? We cannot. It is a 2-2 draw and Fenerbahce wins on penalties. So we got one step closer than last year, but we are not going to win the Champions League this season. But sadly, Endrick does not win a hat-trick of Player of the Season awards. 31 goals and 9 assists, though, is very respectable. 29 and 18 for Luis Guilherme. 88 rated for him, 89 rated for Endrick, 90 rated Andre Santos as well. This team is getting out of control. But we do win the league again 3 years in a row. I'll take it. Back to the Champions League next year. We do not win Orange Becker once again. The Champions League went to Manchester City this year, the Europa League to Real Betis, the Conference League to Frankfurt. And there's not many upgrades we can make to this team. I mean, our goalkeeper finally hit the 80 mark, so I'll take a look and see if there's any good options there. And our left back, even though he's 78 rated, so is Arthur. Arthur is growing a little bit quicker, so I may just put him in and take over that role as well. In short, the squad looks great, and I'm excited for Season 4. Let's just win the Champions League. And for this season, we got a new camera setup here. We also are going for some different style signings. I really like the core foundation of this team. The left back is where I have the most concern. For now, though, we're only making one signing in the summer transfer window, and that is going to be a backup winger. We have Angelo coming over from Al Nassr, saving him from the Saudi League for $25 million. And this team is looking really good. Like I said, we're going to let Arthur have that starting left back spot. I don't really have another good option for him at the moment. However, something I just noticed here, Ribeiro is back from his loan and he is 80 overall. We might have a superstar on our hands, but I don't want him wasting away on the bench. I think I'm going to send him off on loan one more year, and he's probably going to take over for Anthony next season. And currently both Manchester clubs are fighting over his signature. We'll see who wins here. And we have a decision. Ribeiro going off on loan, but who is he going to? It is Manchester United. He decides to go to 12 months on loan there. Hopefully he comes back a superstar and takes over for Anthony next year. Our Champions League phases here, starting off with St. Gallen and Dortmund. Not often you see St. Gallen in the Champions League. October, LASK. November, Leverkusen and Juventus. December, Celtic. And January, Inter Milan and Villarreal. And this should be a regular occurrence by this point. We are currently first in the Eredivisie, and we actually ended up second in the Champions League as well. So we're headed straight to the round of 16. However, neither Arthur nor Hefte upgraded it all the way I wanted them to. So I think we're going to make a change here, and a pretty big one at that. You see, we're going to take a chance here on Robert Renan. We sent him off to Barcelona, I think a year and a half ago now. He is now 85 rated, and what I'm hoping for is that we can convert him to a left back quickly, or we're going to switch to a 3-back. And sadly, he's not going to become a left back anytime soon. Neither are our other two center backs. So I guess we're switching to a 3-back formation now, which means this is what the squad is going to look like for the second half of this season. And I don't want to speak too soon, but I am pretty confident. I'm pretty confident with how this looks, and I'm hoping it's going to perform the same way. And our round of 16 matchup is against Wolfsburg. Game 1 here with the 3-back. Kuto has a red card. Let's just auto replace. What happens here in game 1? It is a 1-0 lead, but that's not the whole story. But we're here to finish off that story against Wolfsburg, 1-0 up. Can we keep it? It is a 4-1 win in game 2, and we're moving on to the quarterfinals. And our quarterfinal matchup is against Real Betis, Anthony's current club. He carried us in the last game. I think he scored a hat trick. I know he won man in the match. Can we do it again in game 1 here? 3-1 win, Anthony, Endrick, and Endrick again. But here in leg 2, Beraldo, our captain, has a red card. We're going to have to just simulate without him. We are up, and we stay up 1-1. We're going to the semifinals, but a massive matchup here in the semifinals. We are facing Bayern Munich. We do have a full squad for game 1. Let's see how we do in game 1 against Bayern Munich. It's a 1-1 draw. It all comes down to game 2. Game 2 against Bayern Munich. It is a 1-1 draw. This is stressful. If we win this game, we'll be going to the Champions League final for the first time in this video. If we lose, however, we're just moving on to the next season and hoping for more of the same. This has been a great year so far. Can we continue to have a great year? Are we going to the final? It's a 1-0 loss, and we are not going to the Champions League final. But we did end up winning the Eredivisie by a fair margin this time around. It looks like we did not win Orange Becker this year. And Bayern did go on to win the Champions League, so I'm not fully against it. I just would have loved to be in that final. But Endrick, 40 goals this year. He is 90 rated at 21 years old. Of course, we knew he was going to be good. This is insane output. Same with Guilherme here, +4 overall for him this year, 21 and 18. Anthony up +2. Andre Santos, 14 and 19 from the center mid spot. And even though with that formation change and those extra signings, we did pretty well overall last season, I know this team can do better, and we're going to make that happen this year. And the plan starts with an early move, another loan move for Bruno Ribeiro. He is 82 overall right now, just doesn't fit the starting 11 quite yet. Arthur heading to Sociedad for 22 million. A sad departure here as well. More of a statement signing than anything, but he just wasn't growing the way I needed him to. Anthony is sold to Atletico Madrid for 110 million. Andre as well, our center defensive mid, out of here to Juventus, 76 million for him. And a pretty insane transfer here, someone I didn't really intend on selling, but with the plan I have for this team, I think this was the right move overall, especially with Liverpool offering 290 million for Andre Santos. Yes, it's going to suck not having him on the team. 290 million though is going to feel really, really good. That money was so helpful. We were able to go back to a 4-back formation. The issue I ran into is there were no good left backs or right backs, and not just no one good, just no prospects either. But we have found Chao Cardoso here, 82 rated, 20 years of age. He should be growing tremendously. And the same goes for the right hand side. We have found a 19-year-old, 81 rated right back in Francisco dos Santos coming over from Porto. I'm excited for this one as well. And with that money we made off extra player sales this year, especially that Andre Santos deal, we were able to make a massive move here. I'm sure you can already tell who it is, but when I think of Brazilian wonder kids, I think of Vini Jr. So Vinicius Jr. is here, back with Carlo Ancelotti, back with Endrick here at Ajax. Again, thinking about Brazilian wonder kids, apparently we just have to keep going back to Real Madrid, and there is no possible way this team doesn't win everything this year. We have brought over the third part of our trio. We have Endrick up top, we have Vini on the left, and we now have Rodrigo on the right for a swap deal with Jan Couto and 110 million. So with just over 40 million left in the bank, this is our squad. Look at this team. By the way, our attack, the 3 Real Madrid Brazilian wonder kids. Fantastic moves there. Luis Guilherme right behind them. He has been a goal scoring machine, and I'm hoping he can do the same here. Moscardo is getting his start this season. He's kind of been on the bench. I wish I could have used him a little bit sooner, but everyone else had just surpassed him at this point. And this back line, even though they are a little bit lower rated than the rest of the team, I still think they're going to be a very, very strong contender for a Champions League title this year. Let's finish this season winning everything. And the league phase this year starts with Celtic and Stade Brestois, October Arsenal and Sociedad, November is Bayer Leverkusen, December Bayern Munich, and January is Besiktas and Slavia Praha. It's a tough group, man. I think we can do well though. And at the end of January, our attacking 4 is doing crazy numbers, and I'm happy to see it working the way it is. We are currently first in the Eredivisie again. I would have hoped so. We're into the semifinals of the Cup, and we ended up placing 5th in the Champions League. Not really the result I wanted. However, going 5-3 and being completely undefeated, that is a good sign. But we're gonna have to see if we can keep that undefeated streak going against Nice in game 1 here. Let's find out. It's a 1-0 win, so we're still undefeated, but we need to win game 2. But Vinny has a red card for game 2. He's the one who took us 1-0 up in the first game. We're going to have to sub him out for this. Can we still win? 3-0 without Vinny. Perfect. We are heading to the quarterfinals. Quarterfinal matchup against Napoli here. This is going to be a big barrier for us. Can we do it here? Game 1, we are down by 1. We need to come back in game 2. And even though our undefeated streak in the Champions League is over, I'm really hoping we can still move on to the semis. This is a cracked team, and I would be very sad if we spent that much money and still can't make it to the semifinals here. 1-0 down against Napoli. Can we come back in game 2? We almost came back. 3-3, but we are out of the Champions League again. And we won the Eredivisie, so we'll be back in the Champions League next year. But PSV went on to win Orange Becker. The Champions League ended up with AC Milan, not Napoli. The Europa League to Villarreal, and the Conference League to RB Leipzig over PSV. And despite us not winning the Champions League this year, we had some crazy numbers from our attack. I'm extremely pleased with that output, as well as just how good this team looked. Our outside backs have both grown +3 and +4 this year. Sadly, Moscardo is one of the only players stunting in growth. That's a little frustrating. So we'll see if there's any changes we can even make in the next season. But otherwise, I think this is the team that's going to win us the Champions League. And there wasn't really any good upgrades for us at that CDM role, especially for Brazilian wonder kids per se. So we're just going to go with a bunch of backup signings here, making our bench one of the best benches in the world. Starting off with Diego Salai coming over from Genk, 23.1 million. A backup striker coming over to us with a swap deal with Isaac, Hugo Lima, 78 rated. A free agent signing here in Alfonso de Oliveira, free agent left back I believe, free agent center attacking mid, and a free agent center attacking mid in Fabio Castro. And like I said, there was no good center defensive mid options or prospects. So we've gone with the best one there was, 17-year-old Rafael Cabral, 72 rated, 17 years old. It'll take some time for him to reach the level we need him to be at. So with no upgrades to the starting 11 and a much stronger bench, I'm excited for this season. But there's one more player I think we need to make sure that we win the Champions League this year. And that is this man right here. Bruno Ribeiro went up to an 85 on loan at Dortmund, and he had one more year left, but I think we need him right now. So I have brought him back early from his loan, and he's going to be a fantastic rotational player for us this season. Let's go win everything. And I mean it this time. And life in the Champions League this year starts with Leverkusen, into Real Madrid and AGF, November Sociedad and Roma, December Celtic again, and January ends off with Club Brugge and Bodo Glimt. And I was not expecting this at all, but we are seeing a Ballon d'Or trophy given to Vini Jr. this year. Vinny has won the Ballon d'Or here at Ajax without even winning the Champions League, without the cup, by winning the Eredivisie. And as per usual, here at the end of January, we are top of the table. We're into the quarterfinals of Orange Becker, but we haven't had much luck there at all. But we did finish first and undefeated in the Champions League this year, same as Liverpool, same goal difference as Liverpool as well. And our 20-year-old right back we signed just last year is already 88 rated. He was 81 when we first signed him. Cardoso up to an 85, not growing the same way, but he is still making progress. I am liking the way this team looks. I'm very excited to see how the second half of the season goes. And even though this campaign has gone well thus far, we have to face the Champions League GOATs in the round of 16. We're facing Real Madrid. Now, one good thing, we've taken all three of their best Brazilian wonder kids. We've done that. Good. However, Real Madrid is known for winning Champions League games. We have to see if we can beat them here in game one. Can we do it? 2-1 win. We are up by 1. Doesn't mean they can't come back, but I am more than happy with being up in game 1. Game 2, we are up by 1. We just need to tie or win this game to move on to the quarters. Can we do it? 1-0 win. We're moving to the quarterfinals. That is a great step in the right direction. Our quarterfinal matchup is against Borussia Dortmund, and Robert Renan has a red card at center back. I don't think we have any good center back backups right now. Should have been something I looked for in January, but here we are. Let's see if we can do it in game 1 here against Dortmund. It's a 1-0 win. I'm hoping we can do it in game 2 as well. Quarterfinals against Dortmund. 1-0 up. Can we maintain this into the semis? 2-2 does it. We are heading to the semifinals thanks to Rodrigo in the 70th minute. And in the semis, we are facing Juventus, but Luis Guillermo now has a red card. What is going on with our players getting way too aggressive? And just to make sure we have a good sub in there, I am going to put Ribeiro at that center attacking mid spot. I know he's a right wing by trade, but I think he's going to do a lot better for us than Marlon Gomez would. Game 1 against Juve here in the semis. Can we take the win? 2-2 draw heading into game 2. I'm not against it, but there's a lot on the line here. I would love to go to the finals. This would be our first ever Champions League final. Hopefully our last. Can we do it against Juve here? Game 2. And we lose 4-2. What is with this team losing? We are not going to the Champions League final yet again, even with this super team. Another crazy year for Vinny Jr. 37 goals, 17 assists. Rodrigo 31 and 8. Endrick 21 and 9. And Luis Guillermo is at a 98 rating. And we win the Eredivisie once again. And we once again did not win Orange Becker. The Champions League final seems to be today. Juve versus Leverkusen. Would have loved for it to be us. The Europa League went to Leipzig. And the Conference League to Lazio. I really don't know what else this team could take to push us to that next level, but whatever it is, we've got to find it next year because I can't keep losing quarterfinals and semifinals. Not only do I try to avoid signing players with no player image, I also just used this guy in a video. However, he's one of the only good center back backups that we have on offer, and like we saw with Robert Renan last year, we need a center back backup just in case we get red cards, injuries, or otherwise. So Vitor Reis is coming over from Newcastle for 17 million plus Hefte, our backup left back. And I'm not sure how much of a need this is versus a want, but there's not many Brazilian wonder kids left in the game for me to choose from. So I'm just taking the best ones I can find, and that comes in the form of Diogo Machado coming over for a swap deal with Angelo. He's 2 ratings higher than Angelo and also 3 years younger, so a great backup left wing, I guess, even though we have Vinny Jr. Another year, another Champions League phase. Sadly, I don't know how we haven't made it to at least a final yet. Starting off with Freiburg this year though. October, Napoli and Aston Villa. November, Michelin and Bayern. December, Fiorentina. And January is Sociedad and Manchester City. And you know the drill, end of January, we are first in the league, but this time halftime undefeated. Still an Orange Becker, but I just don't even look at this trophy anymore. We just keep getting random losses early on. And although we were undefeated in the Champions League as well, which I believe means we're undefeated in all competitions right now, we placed 8th because of 5 draws in the Champions League. So we're still moving on to the round of 16, but we're at the bottom of that pack. And our round of 16 matchup is against Real Betis. Endrick does have a red card, however. Thankfully, I guess we have Lima who can sub out for him, so let's see how this game goes. Game 1 against Betis. It's a 2-1 win for us heading into game 2. But Endrick is now back in the starting 11 for game 2 here. Let's hope we can score a goal to keep us moving forward. 2-2 draw. He does not score, but we are still moving on to the quarterfinals. But of course, it's not going to be an easy quarterfinal matchup here. We are facing Bayern Munich. And while I have lots of confidence in this team, we're going to have to see if it translates to game 1 against Bayern. Let's find out here. 3-1 win is a great start to the quarterfinal tie. Game 2 of the quarterfinals, and the whole team is complacent. We just won the Eredivisie, so I really hope that does not affect us here because Bayern needs a win to move on. Can we still succeed? Another 3-1 win. We are going to the semis again. Vinny Jr. is complacent because we also just won Orange Becker. I said I didn't care about that trophy, but I saw the win come up, so I'm happy. Either way, a game against Manchester City for the semifinals, 2 matches against them. They, of course, will have a strong team. They always do. Can we take game 1, though? 2-0, we do take game 1. We have lost Rodrigo for game 2. Thankfully, Ribeiro is up to an 88, and he is ready to play. Let's see. Game 2 here against Manchester City without Rodrigo. Can we get this win? And we draw, but that is enough. We are finally going to the Champions League final. And as I mentioned, we won the Eredivisie undefeated, 27 wins and 7 draws. Fantastic year from us. We also won Orange Becker, which in this format means we were undefeated there as well. And with us going undefeated in the league phase and the round of 16 and the quarterfinals and the semifinals, we are on the verge of an invincible treble with a Champions League final against RB Leipzig. We might just make history here with Ajax. And we can thank Vinny Jr. for bringing us here. 45-9 for him, 37-8 for Rodrigo. Endrick really not producing that well as the striker, 19-9, but still up in their top 3 on the score sheet. And Luis Guillermo, our cam, 20 assists from him this year is absurd. And while it may have taken a while to get here, this is most definitely a Champions League winning squad. But it all comes down to this, a Champions League final against RB Leipzig. Can Carlo Ancelotti's Brazilian Ajax team take us all the way? Kickoff here in the Champions League final. We are in. I want to see goals. I want to see some crazy play from this squad. And I want to see a Champions League final win in an undefeated treble. Guillermo carrying the ball up the field, top of the box. Is he going to get this pass off? I don't think he is. He's struggling to find an option. Gets it to Rodrigo. Back into Guillermo. Shot. Goal. Luis Guillermo. What a play from him. Just directing everything out to Rodrigo back, and a top left corner finish for Luis Guillermo in this Champions League final. Back in to Luis Guillermo. What a turn and a shot from just outside of the box. Top left corner. What a goal. 1-0 up in this Champions League final. I like this start. Let's keep this energy throughout the whole game. Ball into Robert Renan. The ball's getting pinged everywhere. Saved again. Almost another corner. Please, ref, blow the whistle. And we're heading into halftime. 1-0 up. Here at halftime, of course, we have a star-studded bench, but I see no reason to make any subs at the moment. I'll keep an eye on it, though. Let's get into the second half. Second half, and we're 1-0 up. Luis Guillermo, he has been a star for us from the beginning, and I'm so glad that he was the one to get that goal. Hopefully, though, we can maintain this for the rest of the game. Leipzig just slowly pushing closer and closer to our goal. Are they going to get a shot off here? They do not. What a slide there. Who was that? I think that was Chao Cardoso. And let's just maintain possession here. Moscardo into Vinny Jr. Vinny Jr. is not playing well whatsoever. If anyone deserves a sub here, right now it's Vinny. And like I said, anyone deserves a sub, it's Vinny. Let's get Vinny out of here. He's not really producing anything for us. And I'm going to give Ribeiro, a guy who has been off on loan for most of his career with us, I'm going to give him his chance. Leipzig trying to get a last-minute goal to tie it up and send us to extra time. I really hope they're not able to. Akliush sends it in. Renan blocks it. Blocked again. Moscardo hits it, and the ref blows for full time. That is a 1-0 win. That is an invincible Champions League campaign and an invincible treble for Ajax and the Brazilian national team, essentially. Carlo Ancelotti has carried us all the way this entire rebuild to eventually winning more than I could have ever dreamed to win with Ajax. Sorry, my camera looks different than the clip before. I completely forgot we were gonna get to see all 3 trophies. We get to see our treble on the bus here. I was about to just completely stop recording and start editing this video, but gotta show you this clip. This is an awesome way to end off this video. Again, more than I could have hoped from this team. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you so much. Please make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you like the video, comment down below what other types of videos you want to see. That being said, I'll see you next time.